my guest today on Dateline Abuja, discussing Abuja in Review Part 2. ABUBAKAR Sani is the SA Media to the FCT Minister. You're welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you.
And I have a regular, ADAJI USMAN is the FCT Publicity Secretary and also the member FCT Scholarship Board. You're welcome to Dateline Abuja again.
Good day.
Okay, well, this is Dateline Abuja, so you know that everything concerning the FCT is our major concern. So first things, last week we discussed Abuja in Review, actually focusing on the environment. We're focusing on AEPB because we went into the streets and we got mixed reactions from people, and we actually saw some things that were not there before, or they are worse now. So talking about Gariki and Utako, why is Abuja? Why is the AEPB not doing cleaning out the Gariki and Utako markets or the roads?
Well, AEPB is doing a lot to clean out not just those areas that you mentioned, but the entire city. And in order to ensure effective cleaning of the city, the AEPB divided the entire federal capital city into about 27 slots. And each of these lots have been assigned to cleaning contractors who make it a point of duty to ensure that they evacuate all the solid waste in all the areas under their purview. So for the areas that you see isolated cases like the ones we mentioned, you have to understand that Abuja is a planned city. Yes. And anything that you see outside of that planning is an aberration. And so special arrangements have to be made to take care of that while permanent solutions are found. For the place that you see, if you go to the Gariki village that we are talking about, you see that infrastructure has reached up to certain points aimed towards that very area. But because there's a plan in the future to evacuate that place, that's why the infrastructure has not been fully integrated. But once that is done, you wouldn't see those aberrations again.
Okay, yes. It's true that most of the major roads or districts in Abuja actually have extensions, what we call like slums. But then again, they're actually extending into the major roads. Do you understand? And so making everywhere filthy, like the Abuja, the Gariki village that we're talking about, is actually extending into the main road because it's not so far from the Abuja, the Gariki road, the markets or the slum or the Gariki village in quotes is not far from the main road. So even if we say that there's no proper planning because these are slums, the debts and the filth is actually extending into the main road. So it should be part and plan of the AEPB, don't you think so? That
is why sufficient attention is being paid to that area in terms of ensuring regular evacuation of the waste to ensure that it does not accumulate, to the level that will attract so much attention. But what I'm telling you is that is only a short-term arrangement. On the long run, once everything is done to take care of that settlement, you wouldn't see that again. Because FCT, the federal capital city, and the entire 8,000 square kilometers of Abuja is planned. There's a master plan for it. So anywhere you see isolated cases like that, well, it's unfortunate that it has happened because in the past, sufficient attention was not given to what should have been done in terms of planning, in terms of ensuring that those people who are supposed to be relocated to where they are supposed to be are taken care of. So you have this situation, but eventually all that will be done, and then the place will take its full structure as a planned area, and you won't find that.
Mr. Adoji, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I want to say that talking about Gariki village and its environs, you will agree with me that let us look at a plant estate, for instance. The quantity of fields you get per time is quite low to what you get in the rural areas like that, because you see people around, even on the street, they eat all sorts of things through them per time. Drink pure water, we call sachet water, we call pure water these days. They're all dropping them. They eat corn and water. All these things are dropped because of attitudinal problems. Like in the plant area, you discover that these people are people, of course, who know their onions, what they do is that most times, even in homes, you discover that upland homes, what they do is they have a waste basket kept in the house, where whatever they do within the house is kept there, and then move from that place to a designated dustbin where it is dropped, and then the APB comes and then move it from there.
Yeah.
But in areas like this, per second, in fact, as a matter of fact, most funds are spent in those areas than it is spent in planned areas.
Yes.
Because at every point in time, you could clean up a particular place today and then return back in the next 1, 2, 3 hours. It's as if nothing has ever been done there. So much money has sunk there. And revenues are not being generated from these areas into the government coffers. So budgets are made. Once you exhaust the budget that you have made for such places in the terms of cleaning per year, and revenues are not being accrued to be able to sustain or continue this, of course, the guess is as good as mine that it becomes a problem on the government. So a lot of attention is being drawn to those areas. And if you
as
observe,
we're speaking,
yes,
okay,
if you observe continuously, if you observe, the Minister of FCT, since the time he came in, I can tell you categorically that no allocation has actually been made, in terms of government, allocating lands and so on and so on. Not because these things are not to be done, but because the ones that were done before he came in were not properly done. So they need to see to it that things are done in a more proper way before you can now move on to the next level. And that is what the government is doing. So this government is out to ensure that Abuja takes its shape that is actually designated for before the expiration of this tenure.
Okay, thank you so much. But back to AEPB, we know that the work of the AEPB, and we have the task force under the AEPB. What do you think they are doing or they are not doing properly? Because we still see people begging on the streets and people selling on the streets. I'm sure as you were coming here, you definitely saw one or two of them.
That is why you call them task force now.
Okay.
Because it is an ad hoc arrangement. That is not how a city is supposed to run. There are departments like the AEPB that you mentioned. Their job is to design the city and to allocate to cleaning contractors. But when people will just refuse to abide by simple instructions, and then the government has to go the extra mile to constitute this type of task force, and then when you come to people, you appeal to them, please do not sell here, do not hawk here, they will not listen. And so the government is pained to have to take that kind of decision of having to have a task force, officials running after people and things like that. It is not something that the government is happy with. The appeal is for residents to take ownership of this city. All of us desire to have a beautiful city like we see in other cities across the world. But when it comes to us, it is our turn for us to obey simple instructions. We refuse. And that is why for us as media people, the attention should now focus on the residents. The government is doing a lot, like my brother said, a lot of money is being sunk into cleaning.
The FCT.
In the FCT. But you see it like this because people our attitude alone is something to worry about.
Okay.
You understand? So we need to talk to ourselves as residents. Is this the kind of city that we want to see? Did Abuja is designed in such a way that anything that you want to do, whether you want to build a residential property, a commercial property, it is available for you. So if you want to engage in business, there are business areas. Because each district is designed in such a way that it can accommodate the solid waste that is going to generate, it can accommodate the liquid waste that is going to generate. If you convert those places from the original design to commercial, if it is originally designed as a residential area, and all the houses in that district are now offices, are now eateries and what have you, what you have
is already happening.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. So you now have an upsurge in the generation of waste. And so it increases the amount of money that government has to sink in to evacuate this waste. And so it all behoves on us as residents, as people who want to have this city as beautiful as it's supposed to be, to go by the rules, to follow the law.
Beautiful. You said something about Abuja being properly planned. Beautiful. We all know that. Yeah. But then I'm sure that, and you said Abuja is beautiful. It's so planned that we actually have ways to manage our waste products.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. But then and again, we have properties being, for example, we have commercial places and we have residential. But now we see residential places are now being commercialized. What is the government doing? We're seeing them spring up daily. You go into a quiet street which is supposed to be strictly residential. Voila, you see a shopping mall, nowhere to park, and they just causing you, people even selling around there. What is the FCT administration about that?
Sometimes when we talk about these things, I laugh. You know why?
Why?
Because we are not even ready to move to the next level, us as Nigerians. The truth about it is that when somebody comes and wants to do the right thing, he has to fight the citizens. He has to fight the people to do the right thing, for him to be able to put what is right down. Now, when you talk about residents, for instance, if their location for a particular place is meant for residential, and all of a sudden you see commercial buildings coming up, the government had taken their time to go around to ensure that what is meant to be in a place is what is cited there. But often at times when government comes across this and they take measures, how did you come about this? How did you get this? How did you do that? Sometimes they don't even have documents, showing that those places were actually allocated to them. And if the government goes about pulling them down to ensure that the right thing is done, the society comes against the government. That is not what we elected to do. That is not why you are there. So we have a very big problem. And what we tell people is this. I still come back to the same minister. In fact, let me be very honest with you. El-Rufai was the minister of FCT at the time. And everybody said he was the worst minister. No, El-Rufai must go. When he left, the legacy he left behind is what he's speaking today. As soon as this minister came, people have been saying, no, this minister is not working, he's not doing this. But I can tell you, without sentiment, that this is one of the best ministers FCT has ever had. Reasons. Reasons are that he wants square peg in square hole, round pegs in round hole. And for you to put square peg in square hole, you have to fight millionaires. You have to fight billionaires. You have to fight those who have all the mighty in the society. You need to fight them because most of these properties belong to these people. And for you to get it right, you need to take the war to them. Together. That is exactly what he's doing.
Okay, thank you for that. And you actually said he's one of the best ministers.
Yes.
But earlier on when we were discussing, you actually said, well, Nigerians don't even know who their local government chairman are, which is the truth about it. So we're not going to ponder on that. But the main thing is that you said the FCT, this is the best FCT administration, and we are living under the legacy of what El-Rufai has done. Can you name just 5 things that this minister has done?
Excuse me, let me come in there. You see, the issue is that unfortunately, we as Nigerians are so used to seeing the faces of people on the television screens and them talking, and it is true that we believe that, this person is working. Well, I'm not saying that the FCT minister shouldn't do that, but he doesn't believe that he should toe the line of propaganda. But I can tell you that what the FCT minister has done so far is so beautiful that people have taken it for granted.
Okay, can you name 5?
Very good, and they are enjoying them.
Let's hear it.
Yes.
I love the fact that you said we are living under the legacy of
I'm talking about
actually see.
We said that
I'm talking about
I'm
talking about his own Muhammad Musa Bello, the present minister of the FCT. I'm talking about his own legacy. Now, what are some of these legacies? For example, when he came, what he did was so many road infrastructures, for example, were started by previous administrations. But unfortunately, some of them were taken to certain level of completion and abandoned. For every project that you start and you take it to a certain level and you abandon it, the residents don't benefit from it.
True.
The funds are tied down. You understand? And what did we have before the minister came 2.5 or so years ago was that there were so much areas around the city experiencing traffic gridlock. Let us start from the entry point into the city from the Nyanya Maraba axis, for example. The point of the beginning of Gulo Jonathan Expressway at AYA. You know what used to happen there. For those of us that come from that axis, every morning it's always a terrible thing because you have to go through the AYA roundabout before you access the city. He looked at the place and said, this is a bridge that is going to take some time to complete. There is a rock there that has to be blasted. If you have to wait for the blasting and all the associated work to be done there, people will continue to suffer here. So he said, look, complete this bridge and let people be able to use this bridge and move into the city. And that was the magic wand. And today, we are just go there and interview people who ply that road. They will tell you that somebody said he works in defense, and he could suddenly realize that if he forgot something at home, he could go back in 10 minutes and pick it and still come back. Because that gridlock there is now free and the road is free. If you, there's just beside that also, there used to be a big roundabout on your way towards the Kambiubasi barrack there. There used to be a roundabout there. Now, all of us know what used to happen there. A lot of traffic jam and things like that. The minister built a bridge, a flyover bridge from scratch. It is there now. It is open, it is working. And so people have taken it for granted because a new opportunity has come and people are using it. At the airport junction, the Bill Clinton road leading into the airport, you know what used to happen there? Traffic coming from Giri junction, from Gwagwalada, have to entangle with those people coming from the city, those heading to the airport. That bridge has been completed. So all the loops, all the tangents that ensure free flow of traffic for those going into the airport, they can easily move in now and they move out. The airport road is now free. The road, the Kubwa road, all of us know. At that Kagini, the road was taken there and abandoned. All of us, when we were exiting the city, you understand? So a lot has happened that people are enjoying, but they have taken it for granted. The quiet minister is working silently and everything is going on smoothly.
Do you think the silent approach is okay?
Wonderful.
Don't you think, we all know that the FCT minister is supposedly our governor, Don't you think people are supposed to know what he's doing? Don't you think he's supposed to carry people along on new projects that he's completing, like you said, and the ones who we just started to do?
Like I said, in the first 2 years of his administration, he concentrated on completing these ongoing projects that stalled movement around the city. Now all that has been done. He has shifted his focus to the satellite towns now. As I speak to you, the people of Karachi are smiling now because all the roads inside Karachi town are being tarred.
Now can you talk about what I just asked, the popularity?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, most of these projects will be commissioned with time. And once the time comes and then they are being commissioned, everybody will know what the minister has put on ground, rather than going around making too much noise and doing very little. He makes less noise and achieve more. And I think that is what a government should be able to leave behind. And that is where we are. But I leave everybody with this word, that an ordinary citizen in any country, you understand, benefits more, you understand, ordinary citizen in a successful country are treated better than a successful citizen in a failed nation. This nation is ours, and all of us have to put our hands together and build it and think so that all of us can benefit from it.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you have anything to contribute to the popularity I just talked about, or how popular your FCT minister, our FCT minister is, and if he needs more publicity or awareness to carry people along?
The minister is always carrying people along. He is the most accessible minister the FCT has ever had. There's nobody that has tried to see the minister to forward any issue to him that has not been able to do so. However, like he said, he wants to see his projects speaking for him rather than him being on the screen all the time talking about them. Oh,
thank you so much. I'm sure we'll have to continue this. We'll have to have part 2. We had part 1, this part 2, definitely part 3, and I hope you guys will come on board again.
No problem.
Thank you so much. I've been talking to ADAJI Usman, is the FCT Publicity Secretary and member of the FCT Scholarship Board here in Abuja. Thank you so much for being part of Dateline Abuja. And ABUBAKAR Sani, who is the SA Media to the FCT Minister. Thank you so much for being part of Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, the program is Dateline Abuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.